Hello. Welcome back to some 1968 early morning Saturday Strat-O-Matic baseball. Last night I put up the last game. The Reds were in Cincinnati, or in St. Louis rather. Got beat by the Cardinals 6-5, I believe it was. Yep. And then they were off on Thursday, and then Friday they pick up a 3-game series in Cincinnati versus the New York Mets. So I thought I would do this one live, and we have a good matchup as both teams' number one starters are going today. For the Mets, it will be Tom Seaver, and for the Reds, it will be George Culver. So on paper, the Mets have the advantage there. However, the Reds' offense is substantially better than the New York Met offense, so it should be an interesting game. So, again, the Mets come into the game 7-7. The Reds are 8-5, tied for second place, behind the Pirates, who are 10-3. They were able to beat the Dodgers yesterday, and today, starting on Friday, April the 26th, 1968. The Pirates are in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals, so that should be a good matchup. So, hey, B.R. Wells, good morning. Welcome. I know it's kind of early, but I wanted to get this game in before Baseball Demos did his Saturday morning game, which I enjoy very much. So, a lot of people on the West Coast probably will have to catch this later. So, all right, so we'll get things started. So George Culver comes into the game at 1-1 with a 3.72 ERA. Here at beautiful Crosley Field. Never got a chance to see Crosley Field. I think I would have liked it very much. So here we go. I think I got everything set up. I am trying to zoom in a little. I got not going to do the base runners this time to see how it goes. Kind of zoom in on the cards a little bit more, and have the background of the field I'm playing at. See how that goes. One less thing to remember. So if you can see the base runners on my scorecard, I know it's not as big as the field was, but thank you, BR. I'm glad you enjoy them. I enjoy doing them. This has added a lot to my sports gaming experience, being able to share it. Like most things we enjoy, we like being able to share it with other people who enjoy it as well. So I appreciate that very much. All right. So here we go. We got a night game. A lot of night games in 1968. It was interesting in my 1947 replay, they have almost 0 night games. So, all right, so leading off for the Mets against George Culver will be Bud Harrelson. He comes into the game at a 188 clip, 1 triple, so he is not off to the best of starts. So that's a 2-7, and that's a fly ball out to center field. Beta Pinson patrolling out there will flag it down for out number 1. Ken Boswell is hitting .362 with 3 RBIs, so he is off to a good start. Left-handed hitting second baseman versus the right-handed throwing Culver. That's a 2-2, and that's line hard, but right at the second baseman, Pete Rose, who's normally the right fielder, but getting a start at second base today, is able to handle that one. And quickly, there's 2 away here in the top of the first. Cleon Jones is hitting .306, couple home runs, 6 RBIs. 2 out, nobody on. That's a 4-11, and that's a ballpark single check, which is a 15 here at Crosley Field on an average night. Crosley Field is a very offensive park. So we got a 5 or a 4-11 with a 9 on the 20. That will be a single up the middle. So the Mets get a 2-out runner. See, Jones has the star, so we will hold him on at first. Culver holds at a +2. Johnny Bench has a -3 arm, so for a net of -1. Ed Charles will step up to the plate. He's hitting .205, a couple home runs and 4 RBIs for the Mets. Again, the Mets come into the game at 7-7, so they're off to a decent start, especially for their history. It wasn't until '69 till they started winning a lot. 5-7, and that's a ground ball, second base X. And you know, when you put a weak defender in the field, the ball will find them. So here's Pete Rose, who's a 437. Not that great at second. So he got an 11. So that will be a single because we were holding on Jones. And he got a 5, so that's a rare play sometimes. So grounded up the middle. Yeah, I'm going to have to reread that result. So grounded up the middle, through for a base hit. Charles is thinking about 2. And he jams on the brake, scrambles back to first, and throw to first. He's out. So how about that? I guess that was a rare play. So he singles. And then that was up the middle, so that would be out 8-3 for the third out. So not great base running there for the Mets. As Charles tries to scramble back to first, but Vada Pinson guns him down. So no runs, couple hits, no errors. 1 runner left on. We go to the bottom of the first, no score. Tom Seaver is 1-1 with a 1.57 ERA. He had a very good year, 16-12 with a save, 2.20 ERA. So he had a very good year in 1968, and of course we all know what happened in 1969. Vada Pinson will lead off. He's hitting .279 with a couple RBIs, a couple doubles, and a triple. That's a 5-6 versus a lefty, and that's a fly ball out to center field. Mike Agee will get to it for the first out of the inning. Pete Rose, who's leading the National League with a .466 average, also has 5 home runs and 14 RBIs. Switch hitting second baseman today, normally the right fielder. And that's a 5-5, and that's a strikeout. So Seaver not able to catch up to the, Rose not able to catch up to the Seaver fastball. Don't you love this game? Pete Rose versus Tom Seaver. Love this stuff. Yeah, 69 was tough for the Oriole fans. But the Orioles, boy, I tell you, in the 60s and 70s, it was a good time to be an Orioles fan. They were very good most of the time. So Alex Johnson will step into the right-handed batter's box. 2 out, nobody on. And that's a 5-7, and that's going to be a single. So the Reds get a 2-out base hit. Curveball, inside corner. Johnson pulls it to left field. So he has a star, so they're going to hold him on. Tom Seaver holds it a +2. Grody has a -2 arm for a net of 0. So with 2 outs, we might go ahead and see if we can get Alex Johnson to second. So he's got a 22% chance of getting a lead, and he does. 1-15, he will be safe. And he goes to 17, so great throw by Grody. And guns him down. So Grody needed a perfect throw almost, and he delivered it. So that would be 2-6. So Both teams not doing good on the base running. After one inning, no score. I usually, when there's 2 outs, I sometimes will take a little bit more advantage to try to, or a little more risk rather, to try to get that runner in scoring position. So Ron Swoboda is hitting .214, couple RBIs. Right-handed hitter versus right-handed pitcher. That's a 1-6, and that is a whiff. Sharp breaking ball, and Swoboda chases it, not able to get to it. Out number 1. Ed Kranepool, .220 with an RBI. Left-handed hitting first baseman. That's a 3-8, and that's a ground ball down to second base. Pete Rose will be able to field this one. Throw on to Lee May, who is just back from injury, for out number 2. I think Lee May was out for 8 games, so this is his first game back. And the Reds are glad to have him back. Jerry Grode is hitting .227, couple RBIs. And that's a 4-8, and that's a ground ball down to third. Tony Perez sets and throws across the infield. Did I have 4-8? Oh, yeah, I looked at the wrong column. That's actually going to be a single. I was looking at 5-8. That's one advantage to playing along with the computer. It keeps you honest. So Grode is not a threat to steal, so we'll have May play behind him. Tommy Agee hitting .143. No home runs, no RBIs, 2 outs. Grode on first, runs at an 11. Not horrible for a catcher. That's a 4-8, and that's going to be a 2-star single. So twice in a row we've hit that 4 column, which is not Culver's good column. So Agee slaps one to right field. Jones will field it, but not before Grote's able to make it into third, and the Mets have him on the corners with 2 outs for Tom Seaver. So Agee is a threat to steal, so we're going to hold him on at first. Tom Seaver comes in at a 2W, so not a great hitting pitcher. So here's the pitch. Culver trying to get out of this pickle. And that's a 1-7, and he will strike him out. Seaver overmatched with the changeup there after a couple good fastballs. So that'll do it for the Mets. They leave a couple on after getting a couple of hits. We go to the bottom of the second, no score. Tony Perez will lead off things here in the bottom of the second. Tony's hitting .339, 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. And that's a 1-3, a single check. And here at Crosley, 1-15, we rolled a 1, so he will start off the inning with a single. He lines it up the middle. Agee plays it on a couple hops. So they're going to hold Perez on, even though he's not a star. If he gets a 5, he gets a pretty good lead. So Lee May, back from injury, is hitting .250, a home run, 4 RBIs, and 20 at bats. I think we'll go ahead and just hit away here. Hopefully Lee can avoid, or Lee May can avoid the double play. That's a 2-3, and that's a fly ball out to right field as he goes the other way on a Seaver fastball. Lined hard, but right at Swoboda for out number 1. Mac Jones had his first start yesterday, getting his second one today. Is hitting .111 with a couple RBIs. Left-handed hitter. That's a 1-4, 18, and that is gone. I do have, let's see, here at Riverfront, I do have the robbing the home run rule, and I think in left field or right field you can. So, but Swoboda is a 4 out there, so There's a good chance it will go out of here. So we got a 1-4. Rolled in 18 on the 20. So actually that's the center field. AG's a 2. And it's out of here. So I guess that doesn't qualify for the home run check. I think that's only on a ballpark check, I believe. Not on a regular one like that one. So anyway, Mac Jones goes yard on Tom Seaver, and the Reds are up 2-0. So how about that? Offensively, the Reds have been great in this replay so far. They've been crushing the ball. Nobody's told them this is 1968. So Mac Jones with his first home run. Reds are up 2-0. So that'll bring the star of our replay, Johnny Bench, to the plate, hitting .315 with 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. Got off to a bit of a slow start. But again, you got to love it. Johnny Bench, Tom Seaver, love it. 2-9 versus a righty, and that's a weak grounder to second base. Boswell will field it with no difficulty. Throw him out for out number 2. Leo Cardenas. Red shortstop's hitting .289, 9 RBIs. He's had some clutch hits so far early here in the 68 replay. 6-7, and that needs a 1 for a single. Got a 4. So that'll be a line out to second base. Boswell stabs the liner. That'll do it for the Reds here in the second. But they get on the board with Mac Jones' 2-run home run. On 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on. We've played 2 here in Cincinnati. Cincinnati Reds 2, New York Mets nothing. The Mets came in 9th in real life in the replay at a 73-89 clip. So George Culver, we'll see if he can hang on to the Red lead here. You'll start with the top of the lineup and Bud Harrelson, who flew out to center field to start the game. And that's a 3-9, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 of the day for George Culver. I don't know why I can't say George this morning, probably because it's so early. That brings Boswell to the plate. He lined out to second base in his first effort of the game. That's a 5-2, and that's the line ball hit hard to the second baseman, but Pete Rose is able to get to it. Oh, did I hit the... Oh, he's a lefty. And I looked at the wrong place again. Man, I need to wake up. So that's actually a walk for Boswell. He needs a 7 to get a lead, but he does have the star, so we'll hold him on. Cleon Jones singled, got as far as second base in the first inning. We'll see if they try to steal with Boswell. He does, and he's not able to get the lead, so they'll let Cleon Jones swing away. Get a 1-6, and that's going to be a 2-star double. So Cleon Jones gets a hold of that one. That'll be his 4th double of the year as he lines it over Penson's head. It'll bounce to the wall. Boswell will get to third base, and they'll hold him there. And Cleon Jones is into second with his 4th double of the year. Ed Charles singled and was thrown out running too far past first base in his first at bat. We got 1 out. It's a little early, so I'm going to play the infield back. Of course, you got Seaver on the mound, so there's a good chance we may not get more than 2 runs. So I'm actually going to bring the infield in. With Seaver on the mound, I'm going to be a little more aggressive here to try to cut off this run if we can. So they're going to let Ed Charles hit away. That's a 2-6, and he strikes out. Big strikeout there for George Culver to get that second out of the inning. That's a called 3rd strike. Charles not able to pull the trigger. So big second out there. So obviously we'll put the infield back. Ron Swoboda, who struck out his first at bat, him swing away. Was thinking about maybe intentionally walking him, but I think we'll go ahead and take our chances with Swoboda. 6-6, and that's a fly ball out to center field. Pinson will be able to get to it, and Culver dodges a bullet here as the Mets keep leaving runners on. So no runs, a hit, no errors, 2 runners left. The Mets have left on 5 in 3 innings. We go to the home half of the third, 2-0 Cincinnati Reds. So George Culver will lead off here in the bottom of the third. He is a 1W. But as Joe Nuxall says, anybody with a bat's dangerous. That's a 3-10, and that's a ground ball down to the third baseman, Charles. He throws on to Cranepool for out number 1. Vada Pinson is 0 for 1 today. Here's the pitch from Seaver. That's a 5-10, and that's a third base X, so Charles will get another opportunity here. He's a 323, so got a 5, so he barely gets to it, and got a 10 on the error check, and he makes the play. So good defensive play by Charles. And there are 2 out here in the bottom of the third. Pete Rose struck out in his first at bat versus Tom Seaver. Again, Rose leading the National League in batting average so far. That's a 2-8, and that's another fly ball out to center field. AG will take a few steps to right center and get to it for out number 3. So Seaver retires the Reds in order here in the third. We go to the fourth. Cincinnati Reds 2, New York Mets nothing. Hey, Brandon, welcome. Yep. Doing some 1968 Cincinnati Reds. My big goal is to do like a Johnny Bench career replay. Obviously, that would take a long time, but he actually started in 67, but didn't play much and didn't play well. So he was Rookie of the Year in 68, I believe. So, and he played with the Reds all the way through all the way through 83, so I thought that would be something fun to aim for. We'll see how far it gets. All right, Ed Cranepool will lead off here in the top of the fourth. He grounded out to Pete Rose in his first at bat. That's a 6-8, and that's a single to right. So Cranepool turns on a fastball and lines it to Jones in right field. And the Mets have their 6th hit of the game. Hey, Brandon, that sounds like a lot of fun. I've never been a great car racing. I did live close to Indiana I lived in Shelbyville, Indiana for quite a while, so Indy's a big deal over there for sure, but that sounds like fun. I hope you enjoy it. So Cranepool's not a threat to steal, so May will play behind him. Jerry Grody singled and got as far as third base in the second. I don't think he's going to bunt with 8 and 9 coming up, so he is not. He's going to hit away. That's a 2-5, and that's going to be a 2-star double. So once again, the Mets are threatening. They've left 5 runners on so far, and they start out the fourth with 2 more. As Grody lines it over Pinson's head, that'll bounce off the wall. Cranepool will chug around to third as he runs at a 9. And so Grody with the double. So you got Tommy Agee. He singled as well. So again with Tom Seaver on the mound. I think we'll go ahead and pull the infield in. Being a little aggressive here because we, again, may not get more than 2 runs. That's a 1-5, and he strikes out. So George Culver is doing it again. AG not able to catch up to the heater. One away. Tom Seaver will step up to the plate. He is a 2W. He struck out in his last at bat. So I think we're going to keep the infield in. I know on the pitcher's hitting card, 3-7 becomes a single. And that's a 1-5, and he strikes out. So 2 strikeouts in a row for Culver as the New York Mets fans groan. So Culver 1 out away from getting out of another pickle. So we'll put the infield back, of course. So Bud Harrelson is 0 for 2. He is not a clutch hitter. His 1-3, 1-5, 1-8, and 1-10 all turn to pop out. So he is not a clutch hitter. And that's a 1-9. Oh, man. Well, 1-4 is a triple, and he got a 2. So the dice shine on the Mets this time. Got a 2 on the 20, and that's going to be hit deep to right center field. Tough bounce off the wall. Penson's not able to field it cleanly, and Harrelson is into third with a 2-run triple. Just like that, we have a tie ball game. That's Harrelson's second triple. Collected 2 RBI, so not normally a clutch hitter. He came through in the clutch that time. Yeah, Brandon, they put that horse racing park in just a little bit after we left. We were there back in the 90s. So, but yeah, it's a nice part of the world. All right, so Boswell is walked and lined out, so the go-ahead run is at third. Boswell is not a clutch hitter either, but we saw how that worked out with Harrelson. And that's a 5-6, and that's a fly ball out to right field. Jones will get to that one. That'll do it for the Mets, but they finally come through with a couple of runs. On 3 base hits, no errors. They leave on 1 more. We go to the home half of the 4th. We are now tied at 2 apiece. So Tom Seaver has been given a tie ball game. See what he can do with it here. He'll start off with Alex Johnson, who singled and then was proceeded to be gunned down trying to steal second. That's a 6-11. That's a ground ball to short. Harrelson backhands it in the hole, fires on the crane pull, out number 1 to get the speedy Johnson. Tony Perez has singled and scored. Good morning, Brad. Brad, welcome. Yeah, I wanted to get a game in before. I always really look forward to Baseball Demo's game, his live game he does on Saturdays, and he's normally on around 11 to 12. So, wanted to get a game in before he got on. I really enjoy his broadcast. All right, so Tony Perez, he singled and scored. 1 out, nobody on. And that's a 1-7, and that's a weak grounder to second base. Boswell will charge, field, throw, out number 2. Thanks, Brad. All right, Lee May has flied out in his lone at bat. Again, he's just back from an 8-game injury. And that's a 1-8, and he hits a hard grounder, but it'll be right at Harrelson. And he lobs it on to Cranepool, and that'll do it as Tom Seaver retires the Reds in order for the 2nd inning in a row. We've played 4 here at Crosley Field, 2-2. That brings Cleon Jones to the plate. He has singled and doubled. And that's a 4-8 on a righty, and he has hit a single again. So that's hit number 9 for the Mets. So George Culver is not on his game today. He's been able to dodge quite a few bullets, but the Mets keep pounding hits out. So he is a 2-9 with a star. So we're going to hold him on at first. Jones is a B bunter. He's probably the best hitter in the lineup, maybe except for Jones. So I'm going to play the infield back. We'll see what they do. Yep, they're going to let him hit away. So he has singled and struck out so far. That's a 3-7, and that's a 2-star single. So the Mets keep pounding out the hits. Number 10 of the game. That's the liner to right field. So Jones fields it. The other Jones makes it to third, and the Mets have him on the corner. So the Reds will get the bullpen up and going, as we've seen enough of Culver's ineptitude. So Charles will hold him on at first. Let's do the corners in this time. Said maybe hope for the double play up the middle. We'll give up that 1 run because with nobody out, 2 on. This could be a big inning. Yeah, Brandon. David Demos is great. I enjoy his games a lot. All right, so corners in for Swoboda. Here we go. Culver trying to get out of a pickle here once again. And that's a 2-5, and he walks. So he has loaded the bases. The Mets are not an offensive team, but they're having their way with Swoboda, or with Culver today. It was funny when I first started this replay. I was looking at the Reds starting pitchers, and they were like, like Culver's a 3.23 ERA, and I thought, well, that's not too bad. But then I remembered what year it was, and 3.23 and 68 is like 4.5 to 5 in most other years. So we'll give. Let's see. Yeah, Brandon, I'm definitely will finish that replay to see if the Reds can bounce back from their defeat to the Pirates. They got Jose Rio going the next game, so that should be a fun game. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be happening soon. All right, so Ed Kranepool with the corners in. This may be Culver's last batter if he doesn't deliver. That's a 3-7, and that's a 2-star single, so he does not. So that's lined up the middle. Jones will score. Charles will score. Swoboda will make it to third, and the Mets are up 4-2. Hit number 11 for the Mets. So you give Tom Seaver a 2-run lead. Things are looking good for you. So, hate to go to the bullpen this early. Surely Culver can pull out of it. You hate to waste your good pitchers. We got Abernathy and Clay Carroll, our main relievers, in the bullpen. So we got nobody out. They still have him on the corner. So let's see what he can do. I'm going to bring the infield all the way in. So here is the pitch to Grody. He is singled and doubled so far today. That's a 5-8, and that's a grounder down to third. It's a B. So I think that's Swoboda tries to score and Perez throws him out. Let me see. Yep, that's exactly what happened on a B. I know on an A when they're in, the runner holds. So Swoboda gets aggressive, but pays the price as he is gunned down at the plate for out number 1. Kranepool will make it to second, and Grody's on first with a fielder's choice. So Tommy Agee, put the infield back. Got that important first out. See if Culver can get out of this without any further damage. That's a 3-8, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 7 of the day for Culver. And there's 2 away for Tom Seaver, who has struck out twice as well. And that's a 1-5, and he strikes out for the 3rd time of the game. Strikeout number 8 for Culver. However, the Mets come through with a couple runs. They had 3 base hits, no errors. They leave 1 runner on. Big 2-run single by Ed Kranepool has put the New York Mets up 4-2. So Tom Seaver given a 2-run lead. He'll start off with Mac Jones, who hit a 2-run homer back in the 2nd. That was his first home run of the year, and incidentally the first one that Seaver has given up this year so far. That's a 110, and that's a weak grounder to second base. Boswell will field it for out number 1. So Seaver has retired 9 in a row now. He will focus his attention on Johnny Bench, who grounded out to second himself in his first at-bat of the game. That's a 6-7, and he needs a 1 for a single. Got a 7. So that's going to be lined at Boswell for out number 2. So Seaver looks to be getting into a groove, which is not what you want to see if you're a Reds fan. Leo Cardenas, he lined out to second his first at bat. That's a 3-2. He needs a 9 for a single, and he got a 2. So base hit for Leo Cardenas. 2-out variety, and that's base hit number 4 of the game for the Reds. So we'll go ahead and let Culver hit. Again, I hate to go to the pin this early, and with Seaver with a 2-run lead, it may be a wash. If it was somebody else on the mound, I might be a little bit more aggressive, but we'll let Culver here. And we've been going to the pin quite a bit lately, so that's a 5-11, and that's a first base X. Kranepool is a 3-10, so average range. Pretty good error chance here, or not making an error rather. So he gets a 20, so he'll get to it, and he gets a 10. So no error. Nice defensive play by Kranepool as he flips on to Seaver to retire the Reds here in the 5th. No runs a hit. The Reds leave their first runner of the game on, and we go to the top of the 6th. New York Mets 4, Cincinnati Reds 2. So hopefully Culver can settle down here. So far he has not pitched well at all, as the Mets have hit 11 base hits off of him. He starts for the top of the order here with Harrelson, who has tripled in 2 runs in 3 at-bats. And that's a 3-4, and that's a strikeout. So Culver is getting some strikeouts today as he gets strikeout number 9. Ken Boswell has walked in 3 plate appearances today. That's a 2-8. 1-14 is a single, and he gets an 8. So the Mets just keep pounding on Culver. Hit number 12. Liner up the middle. Boswell will be held on first, as if he's a star. Needs a 7 to get a lead, however. So Cleon Jones is 3 for 3. He has a double, run scored. Got 1 out. Boswell runs at a 14 on first. That's a 4-3. That's a fly ball out to right field as Jones goes the other way. The other Jones in the game will get to it for out number 2. Ed Charles is 2 for 3 with a run scored, a couple singles. Boswell tries to get a lead. He's not able to. So Charles will swing away with 2 out. Runner on first. That's a 111, and he needs a 16 and got a 17. So the Reds finally get a break on the rolls, as Jones just misses a single as he lines it to Cardenas at short for out number 3. So no runs a hit. Mets leave another runner on. We go to the home half of the 6th. It is still 4-2 New York Mets. Vada Pinson. So the Reds have the top of the order here in the 6th, seeing if they can make some hay with Seaver. Pinson's 0 for 2 today. And that's a 3-9, and that's a line out to second base. Boswell fields it, out number 1. Pete Rose is 0 for 2 today as well. Strikeout and a fly ball to center field. That's a 3-3, and that's grounded hard, but right at the second baseman. Boswell will get his second defensive chance of the inning. Makes good on it, out number 2. Alex Johnson is 1 for 3. Reds have the work cut out here. 2-run deficit with Tom Seaver on the mound. That's a 5-7, and that's going to be a single. Needed a 1-5 to get a triple. Rolled a 12. So he lines a single to center field. A 2-out base hit for the Reds. Hit number 5 of the day for the Cincinnati club. Johnson's being held on, so we're down by 2. Again, I'm more prone to try to steal. Johnson's been thrown out once today on a perfect throw by Grody. So I'm going to be a little aggressive here with Tom Seaver on the mound. Let's see if he can get the lead. So if he does, he has a 1-15 chance, but he's not able to get the lead, so we will not attempt it. So Tony Perez is singled and scored. Grounded out to second. That's a 5-7, and we hit that 5-7 again, so there's a single. A 2-star variety, so that would have scored a run if we'd have been able to get the stolen base, but as it is, Johnson will make it to third, and the Reds have him on the corners with 2 outs. For Lee May. Seaver favors righties 2. And Lee May favors lefties 3, so he has a -5 total here. In a clutch situation, his 3-8 turns to a pop-out, so not a great clutch hitter, even though he had 80 RBIs for the year. So big at bat here, Tom Seaver versus Lee May. Runners on the corners, 2 away. That's a 6-5. 1-3's a homer, and he got a 6. So he goes deep, but not deep enough. Just missed putting the Reds ahead. Jones at the warning track will field it. And a big groan here at Crosley Field as Jones catches it to end the inning. No runs, couple hits, 2 runners left on. We go to the top of the 7th. New York Mets 4, Cincinnati Reds 2. Ron Swoboda will lead off for the Mets here. Hopefully trying to get some innings out of Culver. His fatigue inning is 6, so he's a little past that. So we're going to have a pretty short fuse with him at this point. Swoboda has walked in 3 plate appearances. That's a 4-12. Needs a 5 to get a single. Got a 13. 4-12. 13, so that's going to be a liner to short. Cardenas stabs it, out number 1. Ed Kranepool is 2 for 3. He has a 2-run single, scored a run himself. 3 RBIs for the year now. That's a 6-7, and that's a single. So Kranepool 3 for 4 today. He lines one to right field. Jones plays it on a hop. So he is not a threat to steal. May will play behind him. So you got Grody, who is 2 for 3 himself with a double, run scored. Let's see. Where does Culver is due up 4th next inning. Let's give him one more batter. If he can't get Grody, we'll go to the pen. That's a 2-7, and he doesn't get Grody. Thankfully, it's a 1-star variety. So he lines it up the middle, and the Mets have another couple runners on. 14 hits for the game. So that will do it for Culver. So let's see. They got righties here. Let's go to the pen, and I think we'll go with Clay Carroll this time. So that'll do it for Culver. Not a very impressive outing by any stretch of the imagination. Guess it could have been a lot worse, as they have left a lot of runners on. George Culver will hit the showers, and Clay Carroll will come on. Carroll and Abernathy both had very good years, not so great in the replay so far. So far, Carroll's 2-1 with 2 saves with a hefty 6.14 ERA. So hopefully he can stop this rally. So again, he faces Tommy Agee, who is 1 for 3. And that's a 4-9. 1-7's a single. Got a 14. 4-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to second B. So Rose will field it. He'll give it on to Cardenas, but they won't get the double play. Hey, baseball demos, we were just talking about you. I was just saying I wanted to get a game in early, so I always look forward to your Saturday morning games, and you usually come on around 11 or so. So Grody's out 4-6 for the second out. Agee on with the fielder's choice. So the Mets have him on the corners for Tom Seaver, who has struck out 3 times. We will hold Agee on at first. Kranepool at third runs at a 9. So Tom Seaver trying to help his own cause here. He gets a 6-5. That's a shortstop X. Cardenas is a 236, so he's got good range, but he makes a lot of errors. Matter of fact, in yesterday's game in St. Louis, he made 2 errors. And then one game in with Atlanta, he made 3 errors, so hopefully he can get to this one. So that's a 1, so he doesn't even get to it. And 8 doesn't make an error. So that will be an infield single for Tom Seaver. So the Reds' woes continue. Tom Seaver delivers an infield single, an RBI. And the Mets are up 5-2. Bud Harrelson, again, not a clutch hitter, however, hit a 2-run triple back in the 4th. Carroll trying to get out of this one. That's a 1-4, and that's a fly ball to left field. So he goes, slaps it the other way, but Alex Johnson will get to it, and that'll do it for the Mets in the 7th. But they get 1 more run on 3 hits, leave 2 more runners on. 7th inning stretch time here in Cincinnati. The New York Mets up 5-2. Time for our trivia question. Oh, this is interesting. This is not a hard one. In what place did the Mets finish in 1968? One season before they were world champions. So that's not very hard. They came in 9th. That one was kind of unfair. I wonder if the computer knew I was playing 1968. All right, so Tom Seaver given a 3-run lead. Will tackle the Reds here in the bottom of the 7th. He's got Mac Jones, Johnny Bench, and Cardenas due up. Mac Jones has the only 2 Reds runs today with a home run back in the 2nd. Seaver will Get a 1-7, 1-8 as a single, and he got a 11. So that's going to be a ground ball to first. So 1-7, 11 on the 20. Crane pull will field it. Flip to Seaver, out number 1. Johnny Bench is 0 for 2 versus Tom Seaver. A couple Hall of Famers facing one another. That's a 1-8. Oh, look at that. Right in the middle of all that goodness is a pop out to short. Carlson will wave everybody off, and there's 2 out here in the 7th. And Seaver is winning the battle between the Hall of Famers. So Leo Cardenas is 1 for 2 today. 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the 7th. That's a 6-10, and that's a center field X. AG's a 2-8. Pretty good defender out there. So a 12, he'll get to it. And an 11, 14, who just missed an error. 15 and 16 were 2 base errors, but he got a 14. So nice play by AG. Will retire the Reds in order here in the 7th. We go to the top of the 8th. New York Mets up by 3. So Carroll will get his second inning of work here. He will start off with Boswell, who is 1 for 3 with a walk and a single. That's a 2-5, and he walks again. Not a lot of walks in 1968. That was one of the changes they made in 1969, is that they shrunk the strike zone a bit, and it made a difference. So Boswell has a star. He needs a 7 to get a lead, so we'll hold him on. Cleon Jones, who is 3 for 4, a double, run scored. He'll take his crack at Carroll. That's a 3-7, and that's a hard grounder down to short. Cardenas will scoop it to Rose. Nice pivot onto May. 6-4-3 double play. So 2 away, nobody on. Hey, Peachette, welcome. Looks like we have a whole host of Virginians today. So Ed Charles is 2 for 4 with a run scored. That's a 6-11, and that's a ground ball down to third. Baseman Tony Perez sets and throws on to Lee May, and that'll do it for the Mets in the 8th. I think what is that, 4 Virginians now? It's a Virginia reunion here at Crosley Field. All right, Tom Seaver has a 3-run lead, and so the pitcher's due up, so obviously we will pinch hit here in this situation. We'll go with Whitfield. Whitfield is 222 with a home run and 3 RBI, so he'll take his crack here at Tom Seaver as the Reds bat in the bottom of the 8th, down by 3. Whitfield got a little bit of starting time with Lee May on the DL for 8 games. That's funny, baseball demos. So 1-10, and that's a weak grounder to second base. Boswell charged, sets and throws, out number 1. So Tom Seaver in a groove. looking to pick up his second win of the replay. Pinson will step into the left-handed batter's box. He's 0 for 3 today. That's a 1-4, and that's a ground ball down to first baseman Kranepool. Hey, Wesley, welcome. Yep, gotta love the Hoosiers. Like I said, I spent some time in Shelbyville, Indiana back in the 90s. So Kranepool takes it to the bag himself for out number 2. Thanks for stopping in, Baseball Demos. Like I said, look forward to catching your game later today. Pete Rose is 0 for 3. Still hitting .443 for the year. He gets a 5.8 as a lefty, and that's a second base X. Boswell's a .330, so good chance for an error here. So a 12, he gets to it. 12 on the error rating. He does make an error, so Boswell boots it. First error of the game for either team. So Boswell with the error. We'll put Pete Rose on first. Pete's not a threat to steal, as he had 3 stolen bases but was caught 7 times. So we will not try anything as far as that goes. Alex Johnson is 2 for 3 today. He has 2 of the 6 Reds hits. That's a 5-7, so that's good. That's Seaver's one weakness there. He gets a single. So 5-7. So the Reds are threatening here with 2 outs in the 8th, as that's a 2-star single. So that'll send Rose, who runs out of 16, to third. Yeah, App is great. App is a wonderful game. So they're holding Johnson on, so that brings Tony Perez to the plate. The Reds have runners on the corner. Perez represents the tying run. He is 2 for 3 today with a couple singles. Here is the pitch from Tom Seaver. That's a 3-5, and that's a strikeout. So Tom Seaver wins the Tom Seaver-Tony Perez matchup. I believe Tony's in the Hall of Fame, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I know he wasn't in for a while, but I think he got in with the Veterans Committee, if I remember correctly, but I might be mistaken. So the Reds leave a couple runners on. Good opportunity blown as Seaver rears back and throws the gas past Tony Perez. So we have to bring in a new pitcher here. So I think we'll go with Lee here. I don't want to bring on Abernathy with us down by 3 and Seaver on the mound. So Bob Lee, right-hander. So far he's pitched a good couple innings so far. However, in real life he had a 5.15 ERA. So we'll give Lee here a chance. The Reds down by 3 in the top of the 9th. Yeah, SDGAKATBK, whatever that stands for. Obviously, Strat's my favorite, but they are all great games, and you're exactly right. It depends on what you're looking for. They all do different things, and it's kind of like a smorgasbord. Some days you want pork, some days you want hamburger. So, you know, it's a great time to be a gamer. There's a lot of wonderful games out there. But yeah, Super Advanced Strat is my favorite. Of course, it's not, Brandon, not difficult for me just because I've played it so long. You know, obviously, the more you play something, you know, the more easy it seems. Yeah, P-Jed, I love old baseball. Not a big fan of the modern game. Not to complain, but I much rather roll a game and, you know, relive the old days. Sound like an old man. But anyway, so Bob Lee will start out with Swoboda here. Swoboda has walked in 4 plate appearances. He gets a 6-5, and that's a whiff. So Swoboda records the first out. Ed Kranepool, who's had a great game, he's 3 for 4 with a couple RBIs, 2 runs scored. Six, and that's a strikeout. So Bob Lee, pretending he's Tom Seaver, mows down the first 2 he faces with 2 strikeouts in a row, and he will focus his attention on Jerry Grody, who is 3 for 4 himself with a double and a run scored. Yeah, I just saw, again, I don't want to, you know, if you love the modern game, that's wonderful. No harm to you, but was it Kershaw who had a no-hitter going and they took him out? I mean, again, I'm sure they probably was some kind of excuse as to why, but, you know, again, you got a no-hitter going, you know, let the man throw. All right, so Grody is up with 2 out, nobody on. Again, he's 3 for 4 today. That's a 6-10. That's your shortstop X. And Cardenas has decent range with a 2, but again, very error prone, as he's made a lot of errors this year already. So 4, he's able to get to it, and he gets a 13, and he proceeds to make yet another error. So Cardenas is, I know, of at least 6 errors this year already. We've only played 13 games. So Cardenas boots that one. And that'll bring Tommy Agee, who is 1 for 4. So we're going to see Kranepool. Actually, Grody's out there. And he's out automatically 8 to 10 and 12, so we're not going to hold him on. So Lee trying to keep the deficit at 3. Gets a 1-8, and that's a strikeout. So he strikes out the side with a error sandwiched in there. So no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 runner left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Tom Seaver on the mound. The Reds down by 3. We got 5, 6, and 7 due up here in the bottom of the 9th. Tom Seaver will start off with Lee May, who is 0 for 3 today. 5-8, and that's a second base X. Boswell's a 330. He's already made 1 error today. Yeah, thanks, Brandon. I thought he was inducted. I know he should have been, I think. So a 12. He gets to the ball, an 8-12, and he makes his 2nd error of the game. So Boswell not able to handle the hard grounder by May. His 2nd error of the game, 3rd error total. So error by Boswell, number 2. So the Reds get their first runner on. That'll bring Mac Jones to the plate, who's homered in 3 at-bats. That's a 2-6, and he strikes out. So Seaver, not very many strikeouts today. That's just his 3rd. Pitched a good game nonetheless, so that's 1 away. Johnny Bench is 0 for 3. Here's the pitch from Seaver. And that's a 1-9, and that's going to be trouble. Got a 13 on the 20. So Bench pulls that into the left center field gap. Hit it hard. Nobody's going to get to that one as it rolls to the wall. Lee May will make it to 3rd. They'll hold him up there, and Bench is on with a double. So the Reds don't have a lot on the bench here, so hitting-wise, so we'll let Cardenas hit away, trying to make up for his error today. So they're playing the infield back. Cardenas represents the tying run. He is 1 for 3 today. So here's the pitch from Seaver. That's a 6-6. Oh, how about that? That's a 2-star single. 19 on the 20. That's a grounder to left field. May will score. Bench will score. And the Reds have drawn within 1. So that error by Boswell proves costly. Two-run single by Leo Cardenas, and it is now 5-4 New York Mets. So they're holding on Cardenas. They're playing the corners in. Of course, we're going to go to the bench here. The tying run on first. Let's see, who do we got here? I guess we'll go with Chico Ruiz. Not a strong bench. Ruiz is hitting 500 and 10 at bats so far. Tom Seaver, looks like they're going to leave him in the game, as this is 1968 after all. So we get Ruiz. Bench hitting. So here we go. Ruiz is the go-ahead run at the plate. That's a 2-2, and he walks. So Seaver has run into some trouble here in the bottom of the ninth. The Reds have runners on first and second, 1 out, and Seaver's tired, so it may be time for the bullpen. I don't know what kind of bullpen the Mets have, but they're going to go to the pen, and Cal Kuntz will take his place. Kuntz was .242 with 11 saves, so he was their main reliever. So far in the replay, he's 1-0 with a 1.35 ERA. So get Kuntz out here. So Seaver is done for the day, not able to get the complete game. The Reds have the go-ahead run on first base. So making it interesting here. Kuntz is a righty. Cardenas runs at a 14 at second base. Ruiz is a 15, so pretty good speed on the bases. Vada Pinson will step up, left-handed hitter. And here is the pitch. Pinson's 0 for 4 today so far, looking for a good time for his first hit of the game. That's a 3-10, and that's a ground ball to second base. Boswell will field this one cleanly. He'll flip to Harrelson. Ruiz with a nice slide takes out Harrelson. Not a good throw to first, and Pinson is safe. So they avoid the double play. Fielder's choice for Pinson. And Ruiz is out 4-6 for out number 2. And that brings Pete Rose to the plate. The tying run on third. We could try to steal Pinson, but I don't want to ruin the game, get him thrown out. Even though Kuntz holds at a +5 and Grody's a -2 arm, I'm going to go ahead and let Pete Rose hit to see if we can at least tie it up. So far, Pete's 0 for 4 today. So here is the at-bat of the game. That's a 1-7. And how about that? Pete delivers once again as he gets a 2-star single. Lines it up the middle. Cardenas will score. Pinson will make it to third. And we have a tie ball game. Big clutch hit for Pete there. So Alex Johnson with a chance to give the Reds the win here. 2 out, runners on the corner. Johnson is 3 for 4 already today. That's a 4-10, and that's a ground ball to short. Harrelson will throw on to Cranepool, and that'll do it for the Reds, but they tie it up. Extra innings here. So 3 runs on 3 base hits, 1 error. They left 2 on. We go to the top of the 10th, knotted at 5. Yep, the Reds made a comeback on that one. You wasn't expecting that one with with Seaver on the mound, but they were able to do it. So we will go with Abernathy to pitch. Abernathy is no record with a 4.82 ERA. So here we go. So the Kuntz is due up next. Now it'll be interesting if they keep him in. We'll see what they do here. They're going to let him hit. Can't say as I blame him. He is their best pitcher. So he's a 1W. So here's the pitch from Abernathy. That's a 3-7. Ground ball to second base. Rose will field it for out number 1. Harrelson is 1 for 5 with a triple. 2 RBIs today. Abernathy, a righty, is a little better versus lefties. That's a 3-8, and that's a strikeout. Harrelson down on strikes for out number 2. Ken Boswell. Will hit with 2 outs. Nobody on. And that's a 3-7. And he hits a fly ball weakly out to center field. Pinson will get to it, and that'll retire the Mets in order here in the 10th. We head to the bottom of the 10th, still 5-5. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Reds here versus Kuntz. Hey, Steeler fan, welcome. Got some extra innings here as the Reds were able to plate 3 against Tom Seaver in the 9th. So Tony Perez will lead off. He's 2 for 4 today. Again, Kuntz, a pretty good relief pitcher. And that's a 2-9, and that's grounded hard right back to the pitcher. Kuntz with the nice reflexes fields it and throws him out for the first out of the 10th. Lee May is 0 for 4 today. He did score a run last inning. That's a 6-10, a ballpark single check. Needs a 15, got a 12. So he will be on with his first base hit of the game. May not a threat to steal. They're going to play behind him. Mac Jones is 1 for 4 with a home run. That's a 6-8. Needs a 5. He's a lefty, so a 6-8 is actually a single. So Kuntz a little better versus righties. Mac being a lefty there, delivers a single to right. Let's see, May 1-17. He will make it to third. I think we're going to do that. And they're going to throw trying to get him. And that's a 2, so he slides in safely. And Jones will make it to second on the throw, so good base running there by Mac Jones, and the Reds have second and third with 1 out. So that's interesting. I thought they may go ahead and let that third run make it to third, but I guess with it being the go-ahead run, they decided to take the chance, and so now the Reds have second and third, so that cuts out the force at second for none other than Johnny Bench, who had a big double last inning and scored. So they have the infield in and the outfield in. Kuntz versus Johnny Bench. Oh, they're going to walk Johnny Bench. I guess I should have seen that coming. Sound baseball strategy there. I don't know who managed the Mets in '68. I don't know if it was Casey Stengel or Gil Hodges. I know Hodges was managing them in 69. So Leo Cardenas, he has had a big 2-run single last inning. So again, the infield in, the outfield in, 1 out, bases loaded. Not a lot on the bench here for the Reds to go to. So that's a 5-5, and that's a strikeout. So big strikeout there for Kuntz. Big curveball got him. So that brings Abernathy to the plate, who is by far my best reliever. So this is why I love pitchers hitting, because this is, you know. So do you keep Abernathy in, or do you go for the win here? Again, we don't have a lot of great hitters. Pat Corrales is decent. Now we got Tommy Helms on the bench. Hal McRae didn't have a very good year. Woodward, not so great. Abernathy is a 1W. This is a tough one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let him hit again, because we don't have much left in the bull. I don't know. Oh, goodness. We got a couple relievers in the bullpen still. I'm going to bring in Pat Corrales. I'm going to go for the win. Pat Corrales is yet to hit this year. Okay. So Gil Hodges. All right, so Pat Corrales will pinch hit here. The Reds going for the win. And here's the pitch. That's a 5-7. That's a second base X. Boswell has had some trouble today. He already has 2 errors. That's a 12, so he gets to it. 9 or 8-9, and he makes the play. So Boswell will throw him. Actually, he'll go the short way to second for that one, for the fielder's choice. And the Reds come up empty. So no runs on 2 hits, no errors. They leave the bases loaded. We go to the 11th, 5-5. So got a barn burner here in Cincinnati today. So we'll go with on the mound. We will go with Kelslow. He might have to pitch the rest of the game. Three, 4, and 5 due up for the Mets. Hey Jim, welcome. Thanks, Steeler fan, for stopping by. We got some extra innings going here, Jim. Top of the 11th, 5-5. The Reds were losing by 3 going into the 9th with Seaver on the mound, and they were able to plate 3 to tie the game. So Cleon Jones, Kozlo is no record with a 1.93 ERA so far, so he's pitched very well. So Cleon Jones is 3 for 5. And that's a 3-6, and he starts off with a single. And we will hold him on, as he is a threat to steal. Ed Charles is a B bunter, so I'm going to bring the corners in, expecting a possible bunt. Charles is 2 for 5 with a run today. And they're going to let him hit away. Interesting. I thought they might try to bunt to get that run to second. That's a 6-5. And that is trouble. So he got an 18, so that's going to be a double. The second one for Charles as he lines it to center field. Pinson not able to get to it. Jones will make it to third, and Eddie Yost, the third base coach, will put up the stop sign. And the Mets are in business. Yeah, thanks, Jim. I like those are metal dice. Obviously, I like accoutrements. So, all right. So Ron Swoboda. We will bring the infield in, of course, as Kelslow is in trouble here in the 11th. 0 for 4 today with a walk is Swoboda. And that's a 6-8. That's a strikeout. So how about that? Big strikeout there for Kelslow. Or Kelso, I should say. One away. So we're going to leave the infield in for Ed Kranepool, who's 3 for 5 with a 2-run score, 2 RBIs. That's a 3-5, and that's a ground ball to first B. And I think that means that Jones is going to try to score and get thrown out by May. And he is. So how about that? May guns him down at the plate. 3-2 for out number 2. Charles will make it to third. Kranepool on with a fielder's choice. So Grody is on. So far, Kelso doing a good job of getting out of trouble here. We'll see if he can finish it off with Grody. Grody is 3 for 5 with a double. And that's a 111. He needs a 17 and got a 16. So Kelso not able to finish the deal. He did a good job almost getting out of it. That's a liner up the middle, and the Mets go ahead by 1. Big RBI for Jerry Grody. So Tommy Agee's 1 for 5. That's a 6-6, and that's a double to left field. So it's just getting worse for the Reds here. Agee pulls that one down the line. That's a fair ball. Johnson will play it in the corner. Kranepool scores easily. They're going to try to score Grody. He has a 1-16, so we've got to try to throw for the lead runner. And we're going to let the ball play through. So 1-16. And he gets a 16. So Bench is going to try to block the plate. Bench has a 2 rating. So 1-6, he's safe. Anything else, Bench blocks the plate. And a 14. So how about that? Johnny Bench does a good job blocking the plate. Grody is out at home. So Kranepool scores. Grody is out 7-2. Agee with the big RBI single, however, puts the Mets up by 2. So it could have been worse. Nice play by Bench at the plate there. Good defense blocking the plate. But the Mets tack on 2, and Kuntz is still on the mound, their closer. We do have the top of the lineup here for the Reds and the bottom of the 11th. 7-5 New York. So here we go. Pinson is 0 for 5 today. Did reach on a fielder's choice. That's a 5-9. Shortstop X. Harrelson is a 324. That's a 2, so he won't get to it. 10-14. No error, however. So Pinson with a base hit. And the Reds have the tying run at the plate. Kuntz holds at a +5. Grody has a -2 arm. So we have an 80% chance, but there's a 6% chance of him being out just trying. So we're not going to attempt it. We're going to let Rose hit away. Yeah, Wesley, hindsight's 20/20. Yep, you hated it. That was the problem because you knew Abernathy was by far my best reliever. I mean, Kelso isn't bad, but I'm going for the win. So Pete Rose is 1 for 5 today. Pinson on at first, runs at a 16, and that's a 6-7. He's a lefty, and that's a 2-star single. So how about that? Rose hits it up the middle. Agee will not be able to keep Pinson from going to third. And so the Reds have them on the corners with no outs. So they're playing the infield back. Alex Johnson is 3 for 5 today. Pete Rose, the go-ahead, or the tying run, is on first. Alex Johnson's the go-ahead run. So here's Kuntz trying to get out of a pickle here in the 11th. That's a 3-5. Oh, no. Hit hard to short. Hit it hard, but right at Harrelson. He throws on to Boswell, on to Cranepool, and the Reds will get a run out of it, but a double play. So Pinson scores 6-4. So Johnson hits into the double play, and the Reds are down by 1. Tony Perez up at the plate. He's 2 for 5 today. He could tie this up with one swing of the bats. See how it goes. That's a 4-3, and that's a fly ball out to left field. Jones will squeeze it, and that will do it for the Reds. Well, that was a barn burner, I got to say. So the Reds go down to defeat. New York 7 runs on 19 hits, 2 errors. Cincinnati 6 runs on 14 hits, 1 error. Look at the box score here real quick. So Kuntz will get the win, even though he had a blown save. He goes to 2-0. Kelso takes the loss to fall to 0-1. Cleon Jones had 4 hits. Grody had 4 hits. For the Reds, Alex Johnson had 3 hits, but he ended up hitting to that double play in the 11th, which definitely hurt. So I think you're right, Wesley. Pinch hitting with Corrales may have been the ball game, but like you said, I think most of the time that was what they would have done. So anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by. Ended up being a whale of a game. Very exciting. I would have liked for the Reds to have won. They dropped to 8-6. The Mets improved to 8-7. So, yeah, Brandon, the Reds, again, the fact that they were able to score those 3 runs in the 9th against Tom Seaver, that was impressive, but again, not able to seal the deal as Kuntz was able to hang on. So actually them, letting Kuntz hit, what was it, the 10th they let him hit? Yeah, let him lead off the 10th. So that actually was a good decision on Gil Hodges there. So anyway, I appreciate it very much, and I will see you next time.